Thank you for joining our session, and I'm happy to introduce our speaker for this session. I'm Nathan Faniff. I'm part of the global talent team here at LinkedIn. And our speaker for this session is somebody that truly embodies the successful use of social media and somebody who's essentially created a blueprint from scratch for how a digital marketing strategy can be rolled out worldwide for a global organization as large as HP. So if you guys could just please join me in welcoming to the stage Celinda Appleby.
That was so easy. Hi, everybody. So excited to be here. I really appreciate all of you joining the session. I know you had a lot of options. So how many of you guys went to the party last night? Raise your hands. So I'm super high energy if you've never heard me speak. So I'd like to offer you guys a 5 energy drink if you think you need one. Please come up to the stage if you think you need one to keep up. Anyone? I would throw it, but I'd probably beat you guys up. I can't throw. Here, there's 2 guys back there. There you go. I have 2 more. Anyone? You gotta come get it. If I throw it, I might be liable. Here, the guy in purple. Awesome. So let's get this party started. And I will tell you that idea is not mine. There's Brian Cheney from IBM that does that all the time, but I figure it was super fitting since you guys had a really fun night last night. So let me tell you a little bit about myself before we get started. My name is Celinda Appleby. I'm with HP. I've been with HP for about 4 years now. I run our digital media program at a global level for talent acquisition. And so you guys know, I want to set the stage a little bit. I'm a recruiter by trade, been recruiting for about 15 years. About 2 years ago, I got super excited about sourcing using digital media, maybe 3. And at the time, you guys probably know this, HP's gone through so much transition and change. We're in year 3 of a turnaround. I'm sure you guys heard about our company splitting up and becoming 2 big billion-dollar Fortune 50s. So our talent brand was very volatile at the time, and we didn't have anywhere for our candidates to learn about us. So I started hounding and saying, we need this, we really need this. And finally, someone believed in me, or maybe they just wanted me to shut up. So they gave me this opportunity. What we're going to talk about today is that the misconception that HP had, that you guys probably have, that HP has unlimited budget and resources, and you work for HP, so you're going to get a gazillion things given to you. Well, that's not the case. I use this line all the time. I don't know how many Drake fans we have, but I started at the bottom, and so now I'm here talking to you. As we go through this session, I want you guys to know that every single journey starts with transformation, which works out really perfectly for today's topic. That's a big, angry gorilla. That's like my life 2 years ago. And I took on the project. It was hard. It was big. I always say social media is a long-term destination. It's not something that happens overnight. So as we talk about this, let's focus on a weight loss journey, like a health journey. You start January 1st. Raise your hand if you're like me that decides that you want to diet or join something. Muay Thai was my obsession this year. But every January 1st, I start with something that I want to try new. And that's what social media is. A lot of people start it and then don't see immediate ROI or return on their investment, so they quit. So keep in mind, we have this big gorilla as we talk about it. So since we didn't have anything, we had to come up with strategy development, which as a recruiter was really difficult for me to wrap my head around. So I'm going to walk you through some of the things that I did. So when we sat down and talked about what was missing at HP, what was our audience, what digital channels were we going to do, and what was the goal? So for me, the most important thing was starting with my goal. And my goal was to humanize the talent acquisition lifecycle. And that sounds super big, right? But what that means at the scale of it is that you want your candidates to know who you are, right? So at our printing division, for example, we have awesome printers. And when you take a picture, you can see it, the consumer resonates, they buy it. Well, we didn't have that for our candidates. Our candidates didn't know what it was like to work for us. They didn't know anything about our offices. We were super shutting things down. So I wanted it to make really easy, leverage stories, and put the employee at the center of all of this. When we got started about 2 years ago, all we used was Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook. We kept it super simple. As you all know, there's 999 social media outlets out there. I was one person with a very small team, so we weren't going to do them all. Today, as it stands, we have added a career blog and Instagram to our portfolio, and that seems to work really well. So when you define your audiences, you need to define, in my opinion, the audiences that you're looking to interact. For me, it was current employees. Like, I really wanted our employees to feel wonderful about working for HP, so in turn, they can help me tell the story about what it's like to work there. Obviously, we did a big flip about 2 years ago where we're going to invest in students and graduates to join HP, so that was huge. Experienced talent, that's never going to go away. And then diversity and veterans. So we defined these buckets of how we were going to come up with ways to engage them. So there was also 4 things I wanted to do in this strategy. First and foremost, I wanted to connect with people. We weren't talking to anyone. No one knew us. No one had anything kind to say. A lot of the press was not happy. So I wanted to connect with people in an engaging way, tell our story, but we also had to figure out how are we going to inform them? How are we going to share the story? And then once we figured that out, it was all about engagement. It was all about telling people our story. And of course, you can't have a program if you're not tracking it, right? So how are you converting? What are your numbers? Are you making hires? Are people happy with you? Are you getting better reviews? And last but not least, I was really concerned with making sure that we had a global strategy with regional deployment, because we're a global company. So what does that mean to me? That meant that if I sat in Idaho, I wanted to see what was going on in India. And if I was in India, I wanted to see what was going on in Palo Alto. Because at the end of the day, if you're a global company, you should be sharing that type of content. You want people to know what it's like to work for a global company. So once we had the strategy down packed, and it sounds so easy, right? I did that in like 1.2 minutes. That took a long time, by the way. And it's been always evolving, right? So we had to come up with creating engaging content. And I really wanted to talk about this because a lot of people think, oh, HP has a marketing department, and we do. Or you have an agency that can do that for you. Or do you have a graphic designer? And absolutely not. My team is all recruiters that have become passionate about digital. So I wanted to talk a little bit about our content strategy, because I think it's important when you're crafting this that you put some thought into how you're going to deliver your content. So I wanted to start off with imagine, because I'm a big dreamer. Most of my imagining happens in the shower. So I come up with these big plans of what I want to do. I meet with my team weekly to brainstorm, because I have a regional team, one in APAC, one in Americas, and one in EMEA. And oftentimes, even though we have a global strategy, we have to take into consideration what goes on at a regional level. Part of this big step also, I added content calendars. And if you're a marketer in the crowd, you probably think, oh, duh, that's so normal. Well, we didn't have content calendars. We were very haphazard for months. So, oh, post that, sure, whatever, post it. And so content calendars were genius and super easy to implement. We do it on PowerPoint. There's super nothing fancy about it. Next came the creation part. I do not have a graphic designer nor a marketer on my team. So everything we do is organic and homegrown. We created campaigns, which I'll talk to a little bit more in the next slide. We created hashtags, as simple as that. We have 4 key hashtags we use on a daily, weekly basis. And then content curation. We use Hootsuite for our tool. We give access to all of our digital warriors to go in and post their own content. Engage. So you don't want to be that company that's just posting stuff that's not engaging to your crowd, and you're not giving people an outlet to talk to you. You want to put stuff that people are going to be compelled to talk to you. So that was very big for us. In the engagement model, we also went from a 5-day turnaround time to answer people back on Facebook to 8 hours. I'm really lucky, so I have a gentleman that sits in Australia on my team, someone that sits in Romania, and someone that's in Wisconsin. So we obviously kind of work a 24-hour shift without really, having to. We do real-time conversations. We promote conversations. So we went from just posting something really lame to saying, hey, put your selfie in the comment box, or, what is it today? We ran something earlier this week. What are your 3 things that made the first day of your job amazing? And people commented back. So we were giving open dialogue questions. And again, convert. So this one's been my big headache, because it's really hard to, promise ROI and metrics when you don't have a budget. So I want to tell you that you need to figure out what your conversion rate is. So for the first year for me, it was all about likes, comments, fan growth. I couldn't tell my company that we were going to get hires out of it because I had no way of tracking that. So we really used Hootsuite and Facebook Analytics to come up with ways that was engaging. This also helped me figure out what kind of content people wanted to listen to. So if something tanked, we pulled it. If something was really awesome, we built that campaign a little longer. And I think in the beginning of your year one strategy, likes, fan growth is super okay to use as your metrics. You just need to figure out how many fans you want. Come up with something that's attainable. I changed my goals quarterly. I'll tell you for FY15, that no longer is going to be acceptable at my department. I've been told that I need to now start tracking for hire applications. I will tell you, even without paying any money on Facebook growth by like $0, we were able to make 12 global hires, which seems like not a big deal, but I definitely threw a party in my kitchen for 12 hires. That's where the best parties happen. So I want to talk to you a little bit about global campaigns. I'm going to give you guys some ideas. I brought my 4 favorites. I'm a little biased. I probably had a lot of impact in creating these. But these are easy and free. So the first one that we do, and it's so good. And I'll tell you, though, it took me a long time to get this one approved. But Caroline is our VP of Global Talent Acquisition. Super awesome woman. I love working for her. She has 2 kids. She's into football. She's from New York. She has a great story to tell. So I said, why don't we start interviewing our executives that have key roles open on their teams, put it on a blog, and then share it across all our channels. So in that same tone, we just didn't let her write her story. We asked her funny questions like, what's on your Pandora playlist? Are you a morning person? Are you a night person? We made it super easy so we could engage with people because you know what? We have jobs open in talent acquisition, but you want to know what your boss is going to be like. And the fact that she's a morning person that's listening to Taylor Swift makes that job a lot more human. So we don't post jobs on our Facebook page. You'll notice that. We don't post jobs on our LinkedIn company page. But I do think oftentimes people come to you all the time and say, we have a hot job, we have a hot job. And I'm not a big fan of thinking there's one hot job. But if you have a big hiring ramp up, we create that hashtag ExploreHP, and so we'll put this on Twitter where we highlight a job or hiring ramp up so people can come and explore HP. Day in the life. So the premise for me on this campaign was if I'm an engineer and there's such super hard skill set to hire, I want to know what it's like to work at HP versus Microsoft or Dell, right? And so what does HP offer me? What is the day in the life? And this in particular was targeted at the millennial mindset because they are so highly sought after and they really want to resonate with what's in your company. This post in itself is amazing. It's the most engaging one we currently have running. And last but not least, we have this really awesome campaign that costs $0 to make. I'm going to share it with you, and I hope you guys, copy us. Imitation is the best flattery. So what we did is we came up with a Word document that had 50 words that came from our EVP, came from our employer brand. So for us, it's authentic. It's be seen, be heard, creativity, innovation. And we sent it out to people and say, pick your top 5 and send us a picture. And so we run this weekly with a picture of an employee and their top 5 words that describe their career journey at HP. Simple, actionable. You could leave here today and do this. And let me tell you that it seems like you're like, why would we do that? Your employees telling the story makes it so easy for you to get a hire to really feel comfortable working at your company. All right, so I gave you some content marketing focused campaigns that we're doing, and unfortunately I just shared 4. You guys are welcome to connect with me after. I have a ton of others that we've done or are currently running, or follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, shameless plug. But we're doing some other really cool things at HP that I'm super excited about. So we are running recruiting hangouts. They're powered by Google, but I refuse to call them that. Where I'm meeting with different hiring managers. I'm meeting with recruiters, and they're talking about their open jobs, culture, life. They run about 15 minutes. Those do really well. We do contests. So we do send us a video, and you win an HP slate. Why do you want to work at HP? And these are all global, by the way. My most favorite one that we did this summer was a twintership. And basically, that's an internship that's being shared on Twitter. And so we selected 5 interns from our key location hiring, and gave them rights to tweet about us, and we sent them challenges, and then the winner got an HP slate and a pizza party. And it only lasted 3 weeks, but you would have thought we were the most popular page and the most popular and most engaged company that week. We do tweet chats. Those work really well for us, where our fans get to talk to hiring managers directly about openings, or you get to talk to our recruiters. And those are pretty simple and easy to run. Again, everything I'm sharing with you today is free. Well, maybe the exception of the fact that you probably have to find something to donate. I'm really good at getting it donated, though. My favorite, and maybe it's because I'm obsessed with selfies, is we run Selfie Fridays. And so people hashtag, I love HP, and we retweet them, or we post something where it's a selfie of our talent acquisition team in Argentina. We just ran that, and we tell people to post their selfies under it. People love selfies. People love seeing themselves on a page. And another simple one, we're a global company, so we probably have a lot of content here, but we post pictures of our sites. So every Tuesday, it's a Site Tuesday, and we take them to a location. Sometimes it could even just be your gym or your cafeteria of your site. People love it. We get requests all the time, like, oh, okay, you ran, Sydney. Can you please run Melbourne? And so that's been a super easy way. Your company has site pictures in their real estate department, and if they don't, get an employee to snap it. You post it. Super, super easy. All right, so here's the part. So you guys understand. I'm sure you probably think I have like a huge team, and I do. I'm super lucky. So I'm going to tell you how we built this HP Careers team at a global scale. So currently, in the Americas, I have 12 digital warriors. That's what I call them. I think it sounds really cute. In EMEA, I have 26, and in APJ, I have 14. Like I said earlier, we have regional leads, and so they basically run, I don't know if they report to them, but they manage those teams. How I identify these digital warriors is super awesome. I spend way too much time on Twitter and Facebook, and I find these individuals that are posting, tweeting, commenting on their own accord, and ask them to be a digital warrior. A year ago, people were like, I'm too busy, I don't know about that. Now, when I send a letter out, you'd think that they won the lottery. They're like, oh my God, I get to be a part of your team. So we're drastically growing. The best part of this is A, they're my employees, well, HP's employees. B, they're all recruiters or sourcers. So who knows your company better than anyone else's but your recruiting team? They're constantly selling. They are the face of your organization. They're the first line of contact anybody has with them. So if you can't trust your recruiters to be your digital warriors, then you need to start thinking about that a little more seriously. But they're awesome people. They create all our content. They schedule all our content, and they engage our fans, and they source and recruit full time. So we made it out to be a very elite program, super organic in growth. I am proud to say that in FY15, we are going to be partnering with our new partner, Q Social, to give them the tools they need to be slightly more successful so we can amplify our employer brand. So next year, if I'm invited back, I'll be able to tell you a little bit about that. I feel like I talked really fast. So I have some key takeaways. I can answer any questions. I have some key takeaways for you. So first and foremost, before you go like super big, like, oh, I'm going to go social media crazy, make sure your profiles are optimized. So what this means is when I started my journey, I acquired 4 pages. And in those 4 pages, all of the brand was completely different, like 100% different voices, different images. So what I wanted to do, like anything, even when you're building your personal brand, you want to have one synonymous way that you want your fans to look at you. And so by making them all look the same, you're just building the brand people identify. So HP Careers has been our moniker on anything and everything I do. Once you do that, start connecting with your networks, because that's going to be really important. So you're going to start connecting, you're going to start telling people to join. We have 370,000 employees. It made sense for us to start getting the word out internally and asking them to join and help us, right? And then obviously start informing. By informing, it's like sending them content, asking for content. And engage them, help them promote content. So when, let's say Coffee with Caroline, for example, when we ran that, what I do is I send out an email to all the digital warriors. I give them like a little tweet of what they can say or my suggested ideas. And then basically now I have 82 people tweeting out, this post for me. It's super organic, I know, but again, I have no budget, so it worked for us. And so that really gave my employer-branded content the legs it needed to become viral, right, for free, because we weren't spending any money. And last but not least, ensure you're tracking your ROI. I don't know what that's going to be for you. If you haven't started a program, I strongly suggest you base it on fans and likes and growth. But eventually, like I said, you're going to want to look at, are you getting applications? Are you making hires? All right, so this is my favorite slide. Not me, by the way. I wanted to take some time to tell you that, the big reason why I'm here is that I know I made it sound so easy and awesome, but I made so many mistakes in the past year. And so I wanted to kind of tell you some of the things that I think I messed up and no one told me about that maybe you could take away and refine. Biggest thing is leverage all your available resources. So like I said, we have an HP marketing team. At the time, marketing and talent acquisition, they were not friends, right? So we were like two siloed departments. I would ask for help, they'd tell me no, because product posts are way more important. They almost didn't give us a page, so we had a lot of challenges with marketing. I took a way different approach. So instead of saying, you need me, I'm gonna be aggressive, I took the dumb recruiter road, hey, I'm just a recruiter, you're the marketing specialist, you're the professional, I need your help. And when you ask people for help, 9 times out of 10, people help you. It's when you tell them what to do that they won't help you. So leverage your resources. I have a fabulous relationship with my LinkedIn team. They helped me. They pushed me to get where I am. I use a lot of their content ideas. I use a lot of their reports. Figure out who your available resources. Also, that was our recruiters, right? So I made them brand ambassadors. I made them digital warriors. I empowered them to feel that they could tell a story on our behalf. All you need to do is find 1 to 2 fans. For a long time, it was my parents. Just find 2 people that believe in you. Internally helps, So when you get someone, if you have a leader, your manager that believes in you, then you have someone that's going to pioneer and help you get through this. I will tell you, I had more doors slam in my face, and virtually, thankfully, than in real life. But I would get told no almost 10 times a week. And if I got 1 yes a month, I was super excited. A good example is I wanted to post a picture very early on of our team eating lunch in the cafeteria. And I kept thinking, no, why would we do that? Why would we show that? And I'm like, there's nothing wrong with showing a team pic and a lunch. So I had a lot of these kinds of challenges. Once I had 2 people in my corner and they didn't come at the same time, things started really coming up for me. Granted, I do work for a large company like HP where it's a little bit more of a politics game, but I do think if you have 1 or 2 people believing in you, it makes things very easy. I'm a recruiter, so my creativity is a lot less than someone that is creative by nature. So allow yourself to be creative is my big advice. Don't second guess it. It's social media, you're not putting a billboard out there. So give yourself the creative freedom. If it tanks, you pull it off, So I don't ask for permission. I kind of post things. I shouldn't say this, huh? I kind of post things and apologize later because I do think that the no's were getting to me. So now I just post something and hope that it really does well. But I'll say that has created an environment where they do trust me. So they're allowing me to take risks. And that's a little bit that I do recommend to you is, take some risks. So this is my favorite. Celebrate your successes. So when you're starting out, we obviously started with 500 fans, 0 on Twitter, and we had nobody followed us. So when I got 1 like, I was living it up. I was like, oh my God, I got 1 like. Other people on my team weren't too excited about that, but celebrate it because you know what? That means 1 person really liked it, Then it became 10 likes, and now when we get 400 likes, seriously, I turn up some Little John and we turn down for what in my kitchen. But serious. Celebrate those successes, because you know what? Social media is so dynamic, and I know my boss doesn't go on our Facebook page every day. So if I get this like awesome 400 likes on a page, and keep in mind that I know other companies are getting way more, but we pay no money for the likes, so it's 400 organic likes. So what I do is I snap a picture of it and send it to her, like, wow, check this out. Because no one sees your page or your work as much as you do it, right? So everything you're putting out there, your work, is not being I don't know if it's your company, but no one's really looking at our stuff so much. So I also challenge you to learn to let go. It is a really hard thing for me. I know some people in the audience know me. Some people have worked with me before. So I'm really type A, and I have a really hard time letting go. What I'll tell you about social media, though, is it's dynamic. And so today, cats are really big on the internet, right? So let's say today you post a cat picture and everyone hated it, but tomorrow might be a cat day, right? You just don't know. Well, in the very beginning, I'd craft these 10-week campaigns, every single post for 10 weeks, and then we'd go for it. I no longer do that, because I've learned that sometimes you learn by the end of week 1 that what you created is really bad. And if those are the posts that now get me 1 like, I know that are not doing too well. I used to cry in my pillow. I used to be really disappointed. But now not so much. So if you can start by saying this stuff is just gonna roll off my back, you'll be in a way better place than I was. And have fun, because it's social media, it's Facebook, it's Twitter, it's LinkedIn. Use your employees, tell fun stories. The last thing you want to do is talk about boring things. One of the most fun campaigns we did earlier this year was we started posting about employees behind the printer or behind the moonshot servers. So not only do we have this cool product, right, that I can't really sell you today, but I can tell you about the engineers that built it. And that's the kind of stuff that allows you to have a little bit of fun. So I want to be honest. I'm not a social media expert. I'm just a recruiter with a passion for it. You see my gorillas a little bit more slim and trim. I'm halfway there. I have a long way to go. Like I said, this year we're going to be focused on track for hire metrics. We're going to focus on recruiting, training. We want all our recruiters to be digitally savvy and sound. We're going to implement Q Social. We have a long way to go. But I'm here today to tell you that I did it with a very limited budget, very limited resources, very organic. You can do it too. You can totally action this out and have no problem doing it. Just believe in yourself. So I'm going to leave time, lots of time, for questions. And that's my contact information. You feel free to ask me any questions. HP Careers is our corporate handle. That's my Twitter. Tweet me. There's mics on either side. You can ask me later if you're shy. Hi.
I am in a very similar situation where talent acquisition and marketing, it's like oil and water. And our marketing is actually, we're fortunate to have marketing within HR, but they're not within talent acquisition.
Oh.
So, there's a lot of politics involved,
right,
obviously. And so, can you kind of share your experiences with sort of be a little bit more detailed about that relationship and how you got it to evolve to where, what did you need to give and what did you need to take? And
besides playing dumb, I need you.
Right, so that doesn't work for us.
Okay, so
yeah.
I would say that was my first, yeah. All right, you're the expert. I started doing market research. And by no means am I good at it, but what I started doing was showing what our competitors were doing. What was Dell doing? What's Microsoft doing? What's Google doing? Because at the end of the day, we're a big company, right? We're Fortune 50. We didn't want to fall behind. And so I started building out these PowerPoint decks with every single thing our competitors were doing and saying, they have a careers page and it rocks. And we are so behind the curve. And look at their brand. And look at the posts they're doing. And look at this. And Anita worked with me. It took us a long time to get there. But I was peppering them all the time. I need your help. Market research worked. Eventually now I have a seat at the table. Now I even sit on our social media council for an HR representative. So it's come a long way. But I think they're still, in my opinion, at least for me, they are still the expert at it, you know? They still are better at, you know, design elements and brand. So I give them that. I'm A-okay with giving them that title, and it helps our friendship, our relationship.
And just a clarifying question, so you all are really you've kind of taken over the responsibility.
It was always ours.
Oh, it always
was ours. So this page was open before I started, but it was being ran at a way different level. So we had zero impact. We weren't branded like HP. We weren't talking like HP. We also didn't have an employer brand. So we launched a new talent brand in July that really helped us. You know, we were given collateral. We paid for it, all that stuff. And our employee engagement, HR, employer brand sits in HR too. So I kind of get your dynamics. Now, add to that level, we also have a massive marketing department, like hundreds and hundreds of people. So I never knew who the right person was. I lost my train of thought. But yeah, so.
You answered my question.
Okay, good. Like I was about to go somewhere else with it. Sure, hi.
Hi. So you mentioned a little bit about tracking and getting the ROI information. I'm just curious with at least what you've done so far, is it more behind the scenes where you're pushing out information and you're tracking it, you know, kind of through clicks to your careers page,
So-
and then to follow up with that?
Yeah.
Or any of the followers being poached by the recruiters in terms of like looking up those profiles and trying to engage them to open jobs?
Gotcha.
So it's
Okay.
kind of twofold question.
Twofold question. So the first part is we weren't mobile optimized or mobile apply up until we became mobile optimized 3 months ago, and we just launched mobile apply last week. So we weren't able to track, and even if we sent a link, you know, to Twitter, which that's why we don't post jobs, because in my opinion, I'm on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn on my mobile or my iPad, and if I can't click the link and apply from there, then you look like a really bad company. So don't tweet jobs if you're not mobile apply. Since then, once we went mobile optimized, we use Talent Brew. I don't know how many people use Talent Brew, but Talent Brew allowed us to do the back-end tracking methods. And your second question was, do we look at talent? Okay, I would say no. What we do though is if someone posts on our Facebook page and says, I applied to job 229, no one's called me back, or I interviewed, whatever. Then we'll have the recruiter, we'll send it to whatever region, we'll send it to a recruiting team and say, hey, can you just reach out to this candidate? They've contacted you. And 9 times out of 10, the candidates are fantastic. So that's the only thing we do in that regard. Hi.
Hi, my name's Jessica, and I am a blogger. So
I know you.
I've been
Blogging
tweeting
for
you.
jobs.
No, I'm loving this presentation. So I wanted to ask you about your blog, because I think blogging is great, and I think it's something that recruiting teams should really be considering. Content, like just sharing at different places. What are you finding is the best topics to write about, like the most popular for readers of the blog? So
for us, and I will be honest, we launched the blog in March of this year. It's ran by one individual, and he does most of our writing. So our Achilles heel right now is finding people that want to blog, right? So when we do get people that want to blog, we're all over it. And sometimes the content isn't amazing by any means, but we use it. So our writer, our resident writer, when he writes about day in the life or an interview with an executive, or he does spotlights to our business, because HP is so big, we have different business units, those do really well. So what's it like to work for enterprise service? What's it like to work for PPS? We tried to do like chat with the recruiter blog series, and that just didn't work really well for us. But it's mainly like people want to know about HP because we've been so quiet for so long.
Awesome, thanks.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi there. I actually just tweeted you with hashtag I love Celinda. I love your energy.
Yay!
I'm Rajiv Bawa.
That's my new favorite hashtag.
I'm Rajiv Bawa. I manage not only recruitment marketing for BP North America, but I roll into London. And so coming from HP, it's a very large organization. I have the same challenges, but one of my biggest challenges is governance. So in regards to what I can and cannot do, I roll up into a larger marketing group. That marketing group rolls into North America. North America rolls up to London, so on and so forth. Can you talk a little bit more about the challenges that you've had in regards to like the governing bodies that say, no, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can do that, and it makes some content kind of boring, and how you kind of navigate around that?
Okay, so I play it safe for 6 months, really safe. Like, can I post this? No. Okay. Well, can we do this? No. And so I stopped playing safe. I kind of stepped out of the sandbox, created my own little area, and started posting things. And don't get me wrong, I do get called out. Why did you do that? What's going on? And then I'll just snap a picture of the insights and say, oh, I'm sorry you don't like it, but it's reached over 4,000 people and we already have 50 likes. Do you want me to take it down? No, let's just keep it up and see how that goes, you know? So I've gotten a little better. Also keep in mind I was a recruiter, so like I didn't have these like knowledgeable insights of like what worked well, what wouldn't. I would say stop asking and just do, but be ready with a plan B. And my plan B is always, I'll take it down. I'll tell you one thing when I did goof and I had to take it down. So, because like I said, I make a lot of mistakes. So we run this Selfie Friday thing, mainly with our interns. We ask them to snap a selfie of wherever they are. And so I had this awesome picture of an intern in Israel that took a picture with the Israeli prime minister. And I was like, oh my God, like how awesome is she? Like how did that happen? We should tell the world. And did really well on Twitter, did really well on Facebook. On LinkedIn, we had like, we're never gonna buy your product again. You know, we hate HP, I can't believe you did that. And I don't know if you've noticed or not, I clearly don't sound very politically savvy, so I had no idea that was like an issue. And for 4 hours, I sweated, I stressed, and I finally told on myself. I just called and I said, I did something really bad. We have 100 death threats. Like, it's so bad. Am I fired? Am I fired? And they're like, no, but take it down immediately. So I did. And that's kind of the stuff I do. I think had I asked, I probably would have been told no. But I hope that answered your question. Okay, cool. Hi.
Hi, I'm with Kaiser Permanente. I do recruitment marketing as well. And I was curious, how do you get your employees to be involved in taking the selfies and using the hashtag?
Okay, so it was very organic. Like no one really listened to us or liked us at first, right? So for example, when we first started, we have a HP News Now network, and I asked them weekly, can you talk about our pages? Can you do this for us? Can you? And it was always no. What ended up happening is we're a big recruiting team, so we're 800 strong globally. I started with them because I have impacted them. I can email them, no one will care, I won't get in trouble, you know. I can't email all my employees, we can't do those big reply alls, I'll get fired. So I started with the recruiters, and then what we did with the recruiters was sell social media to your hiring manager. And then the hiring managers got excited. So a big thing that helped us was your hiring manager, everyone always wants to post a job on Facebook. Okay, well, fine, we'll use it for a job. So what we ended up doing was we created this campaign that's no longer operating, where we would put a picture of the hiring manager, we'd ask them 5 simple questions. And it was all centered of like, why would I want to join your team? So once hiring managers saw that they were getting popular on Facebook, they started telling other people, they would snap a picture, take it to their managerial meetings, and next thing you know, it kind of just organically happened. But our recruiters were very big and influential in that regard.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hi.
Hi. So I work for a small startup. We're about 320 employees worldwide. We're aggressively growing. We're hoping to double in size next year. Our marketing team is about an 8-member team. Our recruiting team is about a 4-member team. And the marketing team really focuses on just, sales and how to drive sales. So there's not a whole lot of cohesiveness that we can really depend on between the teams. What are some pointers that you can give me or to our team on how we can work together, or short kind of, quick campaigns that we can implement on our team to help grow the leads?
Have you figured out what your talent brand is, like what you're trying, your message? Okay, so once you have that.
So somewhat.
Okay, so you need to figure out what your selling message is, right? So here's what marketing just say to me all the time. We have a product. We don't need to say much. We just show a picture and a link to buy it, right? And so they're like, what do you have? And I had nothing. It's true, I had nothing. So develop what that message is gonna be. And honestly, if you're a small startup, I would focus on culture, why you wanna grow, who your employees are. Those day in the lives are super easy. Simple though, if you don't want people blogging, or, you're not there yet, snapping a photo of an employee and then telling their story. That worked for us really well before we had a blog. And it was kind of like, Jessica joined as an HR, coordinator, then Jessica managed a team of 10, and guess what? Jessica's our VP now. And it was simple, one paragraph of copy. I'm a big believer of simple. Simple stuff is what gets the most likes. It's when you get complicated that, for us at least, it doesn't work.
Wonderful, thank you.
You're welcome. Hi.
Hi, thanks for the fun presentation.
Oh, thank you.
When you look at the ROI in terms of new grads versus experienced workers that come out of these channels, what kind of results are you seeing?
So for Facebook, our demographic is 87% in the 18 to 35 range. I know this only because I'm doing a QBR tomorrow on my program. And then LinkedIn is very good for experience, at least on our page. A little disclosure is marketing owns the LinkedIn page. I just have a seat at the table. So they've paid a lot of money to build that up. And they were obviously looking for individuals with experience. Twitter's 50-50. Which surprises me to no end. But we kind of look at that a lot. For our early career campaigns, we use Facebook a ton.
Great, thanks.
You're welcome.
Hello.
Hi.
So I actually work for CA Technologies. We have a talent acquisition marketing team on a global scale. So we are sort of find that marketing for talent acquisition and corporate marketing are sort of on two different pages a lot of times. So we have separate pages on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter.
Yeah, we do too.
So do you find that there's sort of a disconnect? And if so, how do you make that connection between marketing and corporate and what they're doing and what we're trying to achieve?
I have 3 friends in marketing out of probably 900 people on their team. Those 3 people manage the big channels I care about. And so I'll say to them, that content is so awesome. So I did that for months. Oh my God, can I get that copy? Can I use that on my page? To the point where they were so annoyed with me, they added me to their content calendar emails. They're like, listen, you'll get the email everyone else gets. You can take it if you want. But that took time. I would say HP, we're one brand, right? We're Make It Matter. We believe in our people. Our people make the product. So our brand doesn't just change much, and our corporate pages talk about product all the time. Every now and then they'll do a people post, but it's flip-floppy because they contact me and say, hey, I saw that really cool picture, I want to use it, and so we kind of worked. It took a while. My 3 friends are very high at the top, so that kind of helps. But I think at the end of the day, even though you have 2 pages, which I'm a firm believer of, you still want to have one unanimous brand message across.
Right, so I think that maybe it's a disconnect that for a candidate experience that they're on one page and then maybe not aware of the other page and getting traction and traffic on both pages as opposed to them just being familiar with the careers page or the...
I get it. I get it. I don't really worry too much about that because let's say that I got rid of my career pages and just rolled with marketing, I would probably get 1 post a day, if that, maybe 1 a week. And right now, I own it. So my goal is to just keep leveraging that.
Okay. Are you familiar with Gaggle Amp?
Yes. But
do you use that as well?
We went with Q Social instead of Gaggle.
Okay, so similar platform.
Yeah, similar platform. The reason we went with Q is because they're gamified, and so we can give rewards to our super users.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Thank you.
Yeah, no, they're cool. They're a cool platform.
Can I ask you one more question?
Sure.
So I have a lot of challenges because I come from government. So it's really hard, but kind of similar to BP, and I think you're fairly governed and have a lot of compliance.
Yes.
So what I'm finding is that when I talk with employees about joining and about liking us and about sharing their stories, whether it's entry or high level, number 1, we're in a fishbowl, and number 2, joining our page means you're also joining, Denver Police Department. You're also
Okay.
joining the city attorney's office. You're also joining the sheriff's department.
Okay.
That can be a little unsettling for people.
Okay.
They've had a Facebook page for 20 years.
Right.
What?
So you're talking about your employees, not your fans?
Yes, employees. So are people creating like alter ego pages?
No,
or
that's
no?
against Facebook policy.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't work for Facebook or anything, but I get this question all the time. So my recruiters are like, train me on being able to stay authentic to my private life, right? And so part of my training is that you just set up privacy features, right? And you just make sure that you are private. That doesn't mean that you can't like the page. You just are going to make sure you're private. Your friends are hidden. I mean, Facebook is set up to a way where you can have lists on the side. And so I'm a big user of that. So I have my Hewlett-Packard friend list, and then I have, acquaintance list, and then I have my family list. And so I don't spam all of Facebook with my 999 kid pics. I just send it to my family because that's all that cares about it, I do public posts. So if you guys were to follow me on Facebook, you'll see how boring I am. It's all about HP and how awesome we are. I don't post anything else. You can do it. You just have to be very good with training. And that's my big thing at HP is we want everyone to be awesome and great at it, but we need to train. You need to spend some little back-end time to get there.
Okay, thanks.
Anita used to be one of my original digital warriors when my team was like 12 people.
And we had so much fun.
We did.
And I have to tell you, please, if you're just starting or you're just working on your pages, keep in touch with Celinda. This energy, this spirit, this positive nature about her really made...
My team calls me Oprah.
She kind of is. Celinda, thanks so much. I miss you. I miss working with you.
I miss you too.
Talk a little bit more, if you will, about the IT side of things, so the back side of things.
The tools I use?
The tools and, maybe Buddy Media or...
No more.
No more?
No more.
No more.
So we transitioned from Buddy Media to Hootsuite this year, which was, if you talk about change, and HP is all about change, and change is good, but we are constantly changing things. And I do really like Hootsuite. It's a lot easier. We can have all of our pages, all of our stuff in one toolbox. That's the only tool we're using now. I use Facebook Insights a ton, Hootsuite. I'm going to start using Radian 6 to keep up with the metrics and tracking. We use Talent Brew, so I do get reporting from TMP on a quarterly basis about Track for Hire. That's mainly centered around our PPC SEM, and we just started seeing some traffic from LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook that's coming from posts that we do on pages versus jobs that we buy. So that kind of stuff. But Hootsuite's all we have right now. Hi.
Hi. So my company has experienced incredible growth within the past few years. And one problem that we're having with social media, both people wanting to use it internally and externally, is that we get a lot of negative feedback on it. So I'm curious, when you are receiving maybe negative or confrontational
I reply.
feedback, you reply? Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'm like the resident Glassdoor review replier. I love it. I'm a good on spinning, I feel like people just want their voice to be heard. So I'll give you a good example. I had a Keurig, I still do actually, but it broke down after 7 months because I'm obsessed with coffee. And I went to Facebook and I'm super bummed, my Keurig broke. This lady sends me a private message, I get a new Keurig the next day. And so, and a box to ship my old one back. And that's kind of what I want at HP. I want people to come and say, you know what? My interview did not go as planned, or I interviewed and it took 7 days to hear from you, which I think is pretty good. I've interviewed and it's taken me months. But I want to be able to say, you know what? I'm really sorry that's happening to you. And here's how we're going to rectify it. We do get a lot of negative comments, but it's all product. I bought an HP laptop. And so what I say to them is, I'm really sorry your laptop's not working, but this isn't the right page for it. However, here's a link to go complain and get your problem settled. Have a great day. But yeah, I love replying. Okay. Do it. Yeah. Once you start replying and they see that you're actually listening, see, people like to complain because they think no one's going to reply, right? Kids do it all the time. My kids complain. If I'm like, okay, you're right, it stops. And I think that's what happened to us. We were negative, and now we get positive. Love your page, stuff like that.
Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. Hi.
Hi. So My question is, if the recruiting team that you're working on is really, really small, and on top of the, recruiting full time, your boss tells you, hey, check out this social media thing. Do we even have a presence? You talked about several different campaigns. What's the best return on investment in terms of time that you have seen?
Okay, so I get that a lot. I mean, we have 800 recruiters, and obviously we only have like 80 people that are digital warriors. That's 10% of my workforce, right? Not everyone's gonna love social. We have some fabulous phone sourcers and LinkedIn, sourcers. So everyone's not gonna be about social media, right? No one's gonna have this like, oh my God, like my energy, right? So find a couple people, on your team, and maybe if your team's small, it might be just one person, and then you guys have a monthly brainstorming session and figure out, quick wins for you. I'm gonna tell you the ones that are easy, we're showing like our gym and our employees like working out. But again, so for us at HP, we're really big on wellness. We're big on volunteerism. You need to figure out what your pillars of success are that they can't get from a job description and they can't get from a career page. So for us, it was posting pictures of all of us volunteering at a soup kitchen. That was like awesome because where are you gonna find that out? It's not on my career page. I think it is there now, but it wasn't at the time. So easy stuff like that. I mean, if you have money, if I can come up with like Louis Vuitton ways for you to spend, but those are my goodwill ones.
Thank you.
Anything else? No? Do you want to come on? Thank you so much. I think I'm done, right? That's me.